everybody's afraid of something, even when they act like they're not. The difference of how people need to handle it can be, well, confusing. Hey there everyone, I'm Jermaine and this is the McNeese method. Look, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet and good to eat so that I can keep you coming back every week. But let me tell you this little story about fear. In fact, this one is involving Kayde. So here's a little story that happened with me and Kayde. We were going outside, we were about to go somewhere, I think it was probably to my mother-in-law's, I can't recall. But wherever we were gonna go, we step outside and lo and behold, I step through the door, everything's fine. Selena steps through the door, everything's fine. Kayde comes behind us, and then there's this big wasp or bee or something that comes around, and Kayde runs for the hills. She's running, she's screaming like, I'm just so scared. And I'm like, no, Kayde, stop right there. And she's like, what? No, it's a bee, or it's a wasp. I don't want to get stung. And I'm like, okay, Kayde, ain't nothing gonna happen. So I say, okay, let's do this. I say, come close to me. She's like, no, I'm not about to get close. That's where the bee was. I say, oh my goodness, Kayde, come close to me right now. So she's like, oh, she's just shaking. She's just, oh my goodness, I can't do it. So she walks closer. I'm like, get closer. She's like, I'm saying, nope, get closer. So she takes a few more steps forward, and I'm like, okay, all right, stop being so afraid. Nothing's gonna happen. She's like, no, I might get stung. That bee might come over, near me. I might get hurt at the end of the day. And then I say, okay, we're about to do this for real then. I say, close your eyes. She's like, no, the bee can get me, the wasp can get me, I can get hurt. I say, you know what, you ain't talking back no more. Shut your eyes. So I tell her to move close to me. So now we're outside, we're near the garage where this bee or wasp was, whatever the heck it was. And I'm just standing there, and she's, she gets close to me. And we wait there for about 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. And then I ask her, I say, how is everything? How are you feeling right now? She said, I'm scared. I said, what are you afraid of? I don't want to get stung. And I say, did you get stung yet? She said, no. I say, okay. Keep your eyes closed for a bit. So we wait another, not too long, because I know Kayde's like really afraid right now. So about 10, 15 seconds, and I say, how is everything now? She's like, it's okay. And I'm like, yes, you haven't gotten stung. Nothing has happened to you. And what do you think is around you? Is there a bee next to you? She says she doesn't know. I was like, exactly. That bee or wasp is not paying no attention to you. In fact, you were probably such a obscure thing, it just not even worth it for the bee, for the wasp, whatever the case may be. And then I asked her, I say, well, how do you feel right now? She's like, well, I'm not as scared. And I'm like, exactly. The one thing that fear was doing, and then this of course is what I was telling her, the one thing that fear was doing, or what she was doing with her fear, was creating such another situation, something that she was afraid of happening, that yes, it could have happened, but it stopped her from just going about her day normally. In fact, it made her heart jump. She's pumping. She's running out the way. She's moving out of the path of whatever she was going to do in order to get out of the path of something that she totally created in her mind. All of that to say is, we create these scenarios, these events, these things that happen in our lives or in our own minds, and we run away from them. We displace ourselves and end up somewhere else solely based off of some somewhat irrational fear. Now, yes, she could have been stung. You're not that likely to just get stung randomly like that unless you're provoking the bee, especially with the bees around here. It's not like it's a yellow jacket. I hate them little things. But after I get done talking with her and I say, well, see, look, you really made all of this up in your mind. You're so afraid of it. You're so afraid of something happening that never has happened to you. She's never been stung by a bee. She's never been stung by a wasp. Yet she has this fear of being stung by a bee and being stung by a wasp and how much it might hurt, and doing all of this for nothing. But I was happy enough to tell her and to help her learn how to just, come near me. You can trust me. I'm not about to sit here and scare her and say, it's right next to you by your ear or something like that. But no, it was a pretty harsh way to kind of like just throw her in the fire and be like, stop being afraid. But later that day, this is how I know, things like that work. Later that day, we were at our destination. Another wasp kind of came around. And instead of just running straight for the hills, this is what Kayde did. She ran for the backyard. Not all the way for the hills, but she ran a little bit still. But then I turned out of my corner, a corner out of my eye, I saw her, breathing. She's taking these deep breaths in that I told her to do it earlier near the garage. And she's just taking these breaths in, and I'm like, okay, you're practicing what the method was. And of course she was still afraid, but she was a little less afraid than what she would have been if she just hadn't realized, really what's going on. It's not that big of a deal. That's the video I wanted to shoot today. I just wanted to share how small a situation can actually be and how big we can make it. And how even an 11-year-old child can learn to be better with handling the irrational thoughts of the mind. And if an 11-year-old child could do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it too. Okay, look, that's all the time I have for today. Hopefully that story kind of inspired some type of way for you to kind of reassess the fears that you may have. And, if you have some techniques or so, let me know how you handle those irrational fears or some fears that you might think that are irrational whatsoever. But until then, see you next time.